Yo, what's up, Cowboys fans? Hey, it's your boy Foots here. Housekeeping. I got a lot to talk about right now, so I'm going to get right into it. Got some time to sneak away from the baby. All my fathers out there who spend that time, you know that it's, you could have, something planned, and then boop, baby starts crying, or boop, baby gets hungry, or boop, baby goes boo, 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 boo. Y'all know what that is, right? Baby leaves you a package, more or less, and then you stuck having not stuck, but you have to deal with your child. But I've been trying to get to this video. I wanted to get to it at the beginning of the week, kind of my final draft thoughts. Thank you guys so much for, first of all, hanging through this time with me, this quarantine time, the prayers, and most importantly, us kind of growing together through this draft period. You guys know I'm draft guy. Did some stuff with Vaj, did some stuff with Joe. Shout out to those guys and their pages. They do amazing work on their pages. We're just giving a lot of information that's credible and that makes sense for the Cowboys. Okay, so I wanted to get that out the way. Another thing, housekeeping. I will be going live tomorrow during our pick and then kind of giving my analysis, and then I'll probably jump on with Vaj or jump on with Joe and just kind of go back and forth and piggyback. I remember, what was that, 2 years ago when the draft was in Dallas? I think it was 2 years ago. Me and Joe did a show, and then Vaj and I did a show. So it was all love, more or less. But when was the draft in Dallas? That's crazy. I can't even remember. I just went on a jog, guys, so I'm trying to get it all in while I can. But anyway, I'll give my analysis, and then we'll go like that. So let's get right to this video, y'all. I wanted to kind of prepare everyone, and I want to say this: do not have a name in mind when it comes to draft. I'm going to give you guys 3, but even these 3 could be off because I've been reading things and hearing things from my underground draft people that a lot of these mock drafts are completely off. Then you're hearing and seeing things like Jerry Jeudy's failing Wonderlic test, which to me is so bogus how these scores always get out and how this BS about his knee is getting out. It's really Bush League. You don't know who puts that stuff out. It could be a team that wants to draft him. Hell, if he falls to 17, I'd turn the card in with no question. But it's just one of those things. It's like it's pathetic that you do that to these kids. You cost these kids money. But, I'm praying that Jerry Jeudy gets everything he deserves because he's a dynamic player. But don't marry yourself to one of these names, any of these names that you have in mind. I'm going to go over my 3 that I've narrowed it down to with a surprise for the first-round pick. And then I have a mid-round pick that is kind of a gem. And I know we all love gems, and we all love, and that it might be a name that comes off the board that fans really don't know about. So at pick number 17, a lot of things could happen. Players could fall. I'll be honest, I've played in my mind situations where 2 studs, 2 to me top 5 players, but because of tackles and quarterbacks and trades and goofy things could fall out of the top 5, and that's Jeffrey Okudah and that's Derrick Brown. I've been consistent. Nothing's going to change my mind that Derrick Brown, honestly, for my money, I would think he, if in the right situation, could have a bigger impact than Chase Young. I've charted all his games. I went back and watched the LSU game. He affects the play on every play. Just it's amazing how good Derrick Brown is, and the fact that the combine happened and people are kind of, I don't know, they can maybe sometimes you have to do a third and fourth watch film-wise to see, just remember. Sometimes you got to go back and remember just how good these guys are. The same with like a Grant Delpit, even though, draft Twitter world has moved him out of the first round. He's still a first-round safety for me. But, from everything I'm hearing, Cowboys-wise, I don't think that's going to be realistic. But that's okay. I still know in my mind and prepare for Grant Delpit to have a very good NFL career. But even so, back to Derrick Brown and Jeffrey Okudah. If they start to slide, especially Okudah, he's the one where I think Jerry could shake things up a bit. I would love it. Because if you look at this team, you're looking at right now with all your returning starters and maybe not really having a slot guy. We'll get to that. But I would give up my first and my third to go up 4 or 5 slots, even my fourth maybe, to go get an all-star corner in Jeffrey Okudah, especially with some things you hear that it's not even a sure shot that that Jeffrey Okudah is the number one corner to come off the board. So it's just a lot of speculation at this point. But anyway, a lot of things can happen at 17, okay? I mean, a lot of things. Atlanta, you could have your dream scenario, and then Atlanta could swoop in. There's so many things. But the three names that I have, Kenneth Murray, Caleb Chason, JJ, Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, what do you guys mean? Yes, Justin Jefferson. I think that nobody has helped himself throughout this process more than Justin Jefferson. If you're looking for a route runner, the two best in this class are Justin Jefferson and Justin Jefferson and Van Jefferson. What happens though is these guys like CeeDee Lamb get pushed up the board because he played in that weak defensive conference, and I went back and watched CeeDee Lamb. I don't know how he separates against press coverage. I also saw a lot of times where he was schemed open. I think a guy like Jefferson, who I just give me a route technician. I've seen it too many times with the Laquan Treadwells. The list goes on and on. Corey Davis's. The list goes on and on with guys who are supposed to win, and they go up and they high point the ball, and it just never pans out. They're always compared to Dez Bryant, but they never become Dez Bryant. Justin Blackmon, all of these guys. So give me a guy who's a route technician, and some of you guys may say, what's my boy that got drafted? I hate when this happens. Brain fart. He got drafted by Seattle. DK Metcalf. Sorry, guys. I hate when I had those brain farts. Seattle had a specific plan with how they were going to use DK Metcalf. Play action, DK, run straight. Beautiful. They didn't try to ask him. I just get scared that if a team drafts CeeDee Lamb and they don't have a great coordinator who knows how to put him in a position to be successful, which a lot of teams struggle with that. They don't have it, and they just kind of expect him to be league ready. I just don't think that that's the case. Now, I could be wrong, but I just struggle. Even at LSU game, now he finished with good yardage, but early on in the game, he was locked. So, anyway, that's that. And you're also looking at Justin Jefferson, who has done it against the best, done it against great cornerback competition in the SEC. So I'm going to always rate that higher than guys who play in other divisions. Just the SEC is the mecca of football, just is what it is. So, Kenneth Murray. Let's talk about Kenneth Murray for a second. A really good athlete. I did not have linebacker on my radar until about February, where I started, me and Joe and me and Vach, and I started to bring up speculation. What the hell is going on with Layton Vander Ash? Well, if this is the pick, this kind of tells you that something's not right there. And this is Dallas kind of righting their wrongs there, because the neck is not, and I just hate to be this guy, but there's never been signs of a neck injury getting better when it was already worse. So that's something that, he had the neck in college, had the neck again last year. Neck injuries early on in your NFL career, and he had a phenomenal rookie year. I will never take that away from him. It's not a good sign, guys. We just got to be honest. If Kenneth Murray's the pick, it tells you, and just a speedy linebacker, comes downhill, can play in coverage. Little, I don't know his height, weight. You guys help me out with that, but watching on film, he's even though Oklahoma didn't play much defense, he was a standout player on that defense. So he makes a lot of sense. Then Caleb Chason. So the argument with him right now is the production. Well, look, I'm taking the upside over the production. I was one of the first people to mock Caleb Chason to the Cowboys, and I'm staying there. I think that if you pair him in a rotation with Alden Smith, who for all we've heard has been good, with Randy Gregory, for all we've heard is applying for reinstatement, with the two D tackle acquisitions in the offseason. I think that you could bring Caleb Vaughn along. You could bring him in as a speed rusher on certain downs and just let him feel his way through this NFL atmosphere, through this NFL landscape. And I think that Caleb Chason is going to be a great defensive player in the league. Don't look at, some of the other LSU DNs who didn't pan out. Kind of look for yourself and see what he was able to do. He's bigger than people think. He plays stronger at the point of attack than people think. I really, really like Caleb Vaughn. Okay, the surprise pick at 17 could be Yetur Gross-Matos, okay? A traditional put your hand in the dirt defensive end with just a hell of a motor. Joe made a great comp to him. It was Danielle Hunter, which is great. Just a solid 11 sack type year. 11 sack a year type guy. Never gonna give up on plays. Gonna be stout against the run. Really, really good hands. Go watch the Iowa game. He freaking took over the game. So he's one of those guys that I think could be that surprise pick. Everybody's like, huh, what? And then he's drafted. All right, my mid-round gem. Okay, my mid-round gem. Let's talk about Minnesota edge player, because he can play in space some, but he rushes off the edge a lot. Carter Coughlin. All right, I fell in love with this guy's tape. Now, he's not overly twitchy. I call him a poor man's Zach Bond. He's stout, very strong, very good against the run, has the ability to knife through at times. He's just a very, very good player. I want you guys to go check him out. I think he could be a mid-round gem if you get wiped out or you go offense early and you still kind of want to hit that need on the edge. I think that he makes a lot of sense. So those are my final thoughts, guys. Enjoy the draft. Throughout all of this BS, I'm praying for everybody's families. I'm just ready to get back to football. I'm ready to get back to sports. I love the Jordan documentary on ESPN, but it ain't nothing like live sports. So at least we have the draft to hold us over. We could talk about it. We can do all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm just ready to get back to football. And the fact that we do have this draft, the fact that, these guys are going to be coming to our team, we'll be able to make sense of what the Cowboys wanted to do. It's your boy Foots. I will be going live tomorrow. Please share this video. Like, share, subscribe. You guys know the whole deal. Peace. Let's go, Cowboys.